I call to order this commission meeting for Monday, January 23rd, 2023. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lundy.
Here.
Commissioner Durrett.
Here.
Commissioner Oster.
Here.
Commissioner Ward.
Here.
Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Here.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Beeler.
Here.
Commissioner Daly.
Here.
Commissioner Jay.
Here.
Commissioner Frazier.
Present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. At this time, I will recognize Commissioner Hill for tonight's devotional.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners. And let me just say, Happy New Year. This is going to be our first devotion that we're having in the year 2023. So I thought it was very important that I impart some words of wisdom here for us. This is something that I had read that I thought could possibly be some best practices for us that we might like to consider adopting in 2023. And the title of it is Lessons from a Goose. So, next fall, when you see geese heading south for the winter flying along a V formation, you might consider what science has discovered as to why they fly that way. As each bird flaps its wings, it creates uplift for the bird immediately following. By flying a V formation, the whole flock adds at least 71% greater flying range than each bird if it were flying alone. Lesson number 1. People who share a common direction and sense of community can get where they are going more quickly and easily because they are traveling on the thrust of one another. When a goose falls out of formation, it suddenly feels the drag and resistance of trying to go it alone and quickly gets back into formation to take advantage of the lifting power of the bird in front. Lesson number 2. If you have as much sense as a goose, you will stay in formation with those people who are headed the same direction that you are. When the head goose gets tired, it rotates when the head goose gets tired, it rotates back in the wing and another goose flies point. Lesson number 3. It is sensible to take turns doing demanding jobs, whether with people or with geese flying south. Geese honk from behind to encourage those in front of them to keep up the speed. Lesson number 4. What messages do we send when we encourage those ahead of us? Finally, and this is important, when a goose gets sick or is wounded by gunshot or falls out of formation, 2 other geese fall down with the goose and follow it and lend its help and protection. They stay with the fallen goose until it is able to fly again or until it dies, and only then do they launch out on their own with another formation to catch up with their lost group. Last lesson. If we have the sense of a goose, we will stand by each other like that. Bow, please. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, that you have introduced us and given us a privilege to another year. I pray, Lord, that this will be the year that our families, our commission, our country, and our world will work together and support each other and just be focused on the common good, Lord. We love you. We appreciate the freedom you allow us. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. I will now look to Commissioner Lee for tonight's pledge.
Could stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Commissioners, before we move to our amendments to the agenda, I would like to recognize our newly formed junior commission that is standing with us in the audience. If you would please stand. For those of you in the audience, this is a new program. This is the inaugural class of the Junior Commission, and these 11 were selected among 57 applicants. So they have definitely made themselves stand out, and we are very excited to have them. You will be seeing them with us for the next several months, so please give them encouragement. And like I said, we're all excited for you to be here. Thank you. Okay, for tonight's agenda, we have the following additions, items number 34 and 49. Deferrals are items number 45, 50, and 52. Withdrawals include 39, 46, 47, 66, and 67, and our non-consent items, items 35 through 37, 41 through 43, 48, 49, and 51. I will repeat the non-consent items, items 35 through 37, 41 through 43, 48, 49, and 51. Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Commissioner Daly?
Madam Chair, I respectfully ask that at 6:45 we take recess and start zonings properly at 7, because the people that come for zoning show that they need the respect to start at 7.
Thank you, sir. Any other amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Second.
Motion to approve the agenda by Commissioner Jay with a second by Commissioner Schoonmaker. Seeing no more discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is set. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the education and general government consent calendars.
Motion. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Ward with a second by Commissioner Beeler. Commissioner Oster, you had your light on? Yes. Yes.
I would like to recognize former Commissioner Randy Smith on 2 items that we're going to be discussing for Dutchtown Road. I don't know if Randy's in here or not, but I wanted to give him total credit for this. It's going to be a great addition to Dutchtown and Cedar Bluff with all the flooding that we have over there. Jim Snowden and his team did a great job, so I just wanted to be able to throw that out and give Randy kudos for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Oster. And those were items 24 and 25 on our consent calendar. Any more discussion? Seeing none, the motion on the floor is to approve our education and general government consent calendars. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk, will you please read our first honorary resolution?
On page 7, item number 34, item number 35. R-23-1-101 is consideration of a resolution of the Commission of Knox County, Tennessee, honoring Benny Smith and the WUTK 90.3 FM team for 40 years of on-air broadcasting.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Jay with a second by Commissioner Ward. Commissioner Jay, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, fellow commissioners. And thank you to all of the alumni that are joining us here today. It's my privilege and honor
to recognize an exceptional achievement in our community by the team at WTK 90.3, in my day known as New Rock 90, now known as the 90.3 The Rock. So it's changed a little bit, but I'm happy to welcome the team behind us, alumni, and those at home who both are listeners and maybe supporters of the station. And the proclamation reads, whereas the Knox County Commission honors the broadcasting team at WUTK 90.3 FM and their general manager, Mr. Benny Smith, on the conclusion of their 40th anniversary year. And whereas WUTK went live on the air at the University of Tennessee on January 4th, 1982 as a student broadcasting lab, providing practical hands-on experience for those looking to start a career in broadcasting after college. And whereas WUTK is part of the student media group run by the University of Tennessee at Knoxville's College of Communication and Information. And whereas WUTK started out with just 128 watts of broadcasting power, barely sending a signal from the University of Tennessee campus to West Hills, but after several technological upgrades, now broadcasts at over 2,500 watts with a reach across Knox County and into the surrounding region, in addition to offering a worldwide stream at WUTKradio.com. And whereas General Manager Benny Smith, class of 1987, has served as the leader of the student radio station since 2004, providing dedicated leadership, direction, direct instruction, mentorship, and career guidance to hundreds of college students. And whereas, as part of their community outreach efforts, WUTK supports several area nonprofit organizations with on-air promotions and continues to partner with Knox County Schools' Falcon radio station at Fulton High School. I believe that's District 2 for our chair. And whereas WUTK has also had a very positive influence on the local East Tennessee music community, providing opportunities for young artists to share their talents with the world, the college radio station afforded several significant bands an opportunity for early success. We found them first, including Balboa, the Judy Bats, the V-Roys, Superdrag, Gran Torino, Briston Maroney, Eric Baker, Royal Bangs, the Black Lilies, Adeem the Artist, the Dirty Governors, and Drew Holcomb, who will grace the Tennessee Theater stage next month. And whereas notable alumni, many of those standing behind me of WUTK, who stay connected to and support the station, including Mike Keith, voice of the Tennessee Titans, Chris Lowe from ESPN, Melanie Hutzel from Saturday Night Live, John Wilkerson from WNML, Vol Network, and the voice of the baseball Vols, James Denton, an actor, Heather Haley from WVLT meteorologist, Ryan McGee from ESPN SEC Network, Brent Hubbs and Austin Prince of the Vol Network and On3 VolQuest, Dane Bradshaw from the SEC Network, Michael Greider, Congressional Chief of Staff and King of Knox County, Larson J., Knox County Commissioner, that's right, I was there too, Beth Haynes, WBIR, and Sterling, Sterl the Pearl Hinton, the Vol for Life MC, amongst many others who took to the mics in the bunker of the Andy Holt Tower. And whereas from on-air broadcasting and music from all genres to sports and news reporting, sports play-by-play, promotion, sales, event planning, production, music, industry skills, and more, WTK 90.3 has been the valuable resource in providing students meaningful opportunities to gain experience in the broadcasting industry. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Commission of Knox County as follows. The Commission in Knox County hereby recognizes the tremendous impact WUTK 90.3 and General Manager Benny Smith have had on the East Tennessee broadcast community and honor them upon the conclusion of their 40th anniversary year on air. Be it further resolved that this resolution is to take effect from and after its passage as provided the Charter of Knox County, Tennessee, the public welfare requiring it. Please welcome Benny Smith.
Thank you, sir. Don't want to forget Hubert Smith, the Hubert Smith radio show, had a home in the basement of Andy Holt Tower for a few years as well, and we've got some current students behind me as well who do just a great job for us. I want to thank you to the commissioners, and in particular Larson J. I hope you're not doing it just to try to get your old student DJ gig back, but really, thanks to every one of you. The recognition means a lot to me and to our students. I also want to thank my late mom and dad who taught my brothers and I at a very early age that a good work ethic is important, especially when the work you do has a positive impact on others. I miss them both, but know they're smiling. With that in mind, thanks also to my wife, Megan, who is here, my daughter, Ella, my mother and father-in-law, Sam and Mary Ann Venable, and so many others who have supported me in my career. As we say at WUTK, and you can see here, radio is a team game. And in case you've not noticed, we've got some pretty special teams at the University of Tennessee right now. And this volunteer radio team right here, no different. All those who came before them, including students and volunteers, have been making special things happen in the bottom of Andy Holt Tower for over 40 years now. Thank you for acknowledging that, and thanks to leaders like Dr. Darrell Holt, Dr. Sam Swan, Dr. Barbara Moore, Dr. Catherine Luther, and Dean Mike Worth for their support. Big thanks to my staff of Liz Lyons and Matt Keaton. And we look forward to a great 41st year on the airwaves with leadership and support from Chancellor Plowman, Dr. Courtney Childers, Dean Joe Mazer, and others. WUTK will continue to work hard at being a positive influence on our campus community and Knox County as a whole. We will also continue to work hard to allow the student voices to be heard, whether it's announcing a song by your favorite Knoxville band, giving LGBTQ+ students a voice on our show Out Loud Knox, reporting on UT sports during Rock Solid Sports, bringing to light student issues on Rocky Top Roundup, and more, all the while giving students very valuable practical experience as they jumpstart their careers in broadcasting and other professions. So I'd like to thank you all again, and we invite you all to tune in to 90.3 WUTK on the FM dial, the Bolt from Andy Holt, or stream us at WUTKradio.com and hear all the cool tunes and all the great things happening on campus. It's what we do. Go Vols.
Thank you, Commissioner Jay. Madam Clerk, our next resolution, please.
This is item number 36, Resolution R-23-1-102, consideration of a resolution of the Commission of Knox County, Tennessee, honoring Knox County 4-H seniors.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Frazier with a second by Commissioner Daly. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Commissioner Frazier, I will turn it over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As a country girl who knows the value of hard work from the lessons learned on my family's farm, it is my honor and privilege on behalf of the full commission to celebrate and recognize the exemplary achievements of these graduating Knox County 4-H seniors. Whereas 4-H is America's largest youth development organization, empowering more than 6 million young people in every corner of our country, from urban neighborhoods to suburban schoolyards to rural farming communities with the skills to lead for a lifetime. And whereas 4-H is delivered by Cooperative Extension, a community of more than 100 public universities like the University of Tennessee Institute of Agricultural Extension Service and Tennessee State University across the nation that provide experiences where young people learn by doing. And whereas for more than 100 years, 4-H has welcomed young people of all beliefs and backgrounds, giving kids a voice to express who they are and how they make their lives and communities better. And whereas in 4-H programs, kids and teens complete hands-on projects in areas like health, science, agriculture, and civic engagement in a positive environment where they receive guidance from adult mentors and are encouraged to take on proactive leadership roles. And whereas kids experience 4-H in every county and parish in the country through in-school and after-school programs, school and community clubs, and 4-H camps beginning as early as elementary school age through 12th grade. And whereas 4-H students are 4 times more likely to give back to their communities, 2 times more likely to make healthier choices, and 2 times more likely to participate in STEM activities, and more likely to be civically active. And whereas here in Knox County, there are over 1,500 4-H members in the 4th through 12th grades, and 4-H currently has clubs in 24 schools and 5 homeschool cooperatives. And whereas 4-H focuses on preparing young people for successful careers by developing public speaking, decision-making, and leadership skills through 31 projects ranging from animals to entrepreneurship to creative arts and design. And whereas these exceptional graduating Knox County 4-H seniors have a combined total of 2,162 service hours, 31 awards, and 17 service projects. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Commission of Knox County as follows. The Knox County Commission hereby honors and commends the following Knox County 4-H seniors: Elizabeth Benny, raise your hand, Corinne Freeland, Emma Freeland, Emma Newbeck, Shaylee Young, and Magdalene Boyle. Be it further resolved that this resolution be presented to the above-named 4-H students, and in doing so, congratulate them for their hard work and achievements with the 4-H program. Be it further resolved that this resolution is to take effect from and after its passage as provided by the Charter of Knox County, Tennessee, the public welfare requiring it. Please join me in celebrating these young people.
My name is Sharon Davis. I'm one of the 4-H agents here in Knox County. And on behalf of myself, my coworker Sarah Harrison Brown, my supervisor Mr. Neil Denton, and my coworker Anna Catherine Underwood, we want to thank the commission and thank Ms. Frazier, Commissioner Frazier, and Commissioner Daly for sponsoring this resolution. It truly means a lot for these young people to be recognized. They've worked very hard, and we are so appreciative of the support that we get here in Knox County. A lot of people think that 4-H is just a rural program just for people who have cows or want to bake biscuits, and we do that. If you want to bake biscuits, we can show you how. Maybe Sarah does a little bit better job than I do at that. But we also have computers and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We have photography projects. We have something for everyone in 4-H, and it doesn't matter what your project is. Our goal is to teach them to communicate, to be leaders, to be good citizens, and to be team players. And so thank you for your support of our program, and thank you, girls, for working so hard to be the best at what you do. Thank you.
Just to follow up on being the best, when this 4-H, Knox County 4-H, goes to the state for competitions, we wipe them. We wipe them. Other counties, we really win. We have got a great 4-H program, and it's all because of the leaders that we have. So congratulations. And the kids.
Thank you, and thank you, 4-H members, for your commitment. Madam Clerk, our next item, please.
Item number 37, Resolution R-23-1-103, consideration of a resolution of the Commission of Knox County, Tennessee, recognizing January as Right to Life Month in Knox County.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Lee with a second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? I'm
passing.
Pardon me?
I want to be marked as a pass.
Say that again. Marked as a
Pass.
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 Should we roll call? Do we need a roll call? That motion is approved.
Okay.
I will turn it over to you, Commissioner Lee.
Okay. Whereas it is a scientific fact that life begins at the moment of conception, and whereas that from that moment there exists a unique human being that has never ever lived before and will never live again, and whereas the Commission of Knox County would go on the record in support of protecting life in all ages, stage, and conditions. And whereas in those times of history when certain classes of people have been singled out as something less than human, unspeakable atrocities have occurred. And whereas the Declaration of Independence guarantees an inalienable right to life, and whereas the Constitution of the United States guarantees that no citizen shall be denied their rights to life without due process of law, and whereas January 22nd, the anniversary of Roe v. Wade decision, has traditionally been observed by pro-life advocates as National Sanctity of Life Day, and whereas January is also the month of the annual March for Life in Washington, D.C., the largest annual human rights demonstration in the world, and whereas the Commission of Knox County wishes to go on record in support of the sanctity of human life and in recognition of the efforts and accomplishments of the Right to Life movement in preserving and protecting human life. Now therefore be it resolved by the Commission of Knox County as follows, that the Knox County Commission recognizes January as the Right to Life month in Knox County and honors the efforts of the Right to Life movement to protect the sanctity of human life and encourages advocates within the movement to continue their efforts to protect every human life. Be it further resolved that this resolution is to take effect from and after its passage as provided by the Charter of Knox County, Tennessee, the public welfare requiring it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right.
The next item is presentations. Number 38, presentation of Rural Metro Monthly Report by Jeff Bagwell.
Captain Bagwell, how are you this evening?
I'm great, Madam Chair, Commissioners. How are you all? Jeff Bagwell, 160 North Campbell Station Road in Farragut. The December monthly report for Rural Metro Fire, 965 medical first responder calls, 48 car crashes, 122 residential structure fires, 342 false alarms. We'll get to those in a minute. 49 hazardous conditions, 337 lift assist or smoke investigations, 305 still assignments or car fires, brush fires, rubbish fires, etc., for a total of 2,139 total incidents for December with an average staffing of 3 firefighters per apparatus. We responded to properties valued at just over $2,290,000 and had a property loss of $506,775, which means we saved an average of 75.76% of the valued property with an average response time of 5 minutes, and 18% of those reported fires were contained to the room of origin. When looking at these numbers, you notice that they are higher in some areas than others. You remember what happened right around Christmas involving the weather. It caused a lot of alarms and frozen sprinkler pipes that had us busy for about 4 days. Unprecedented numbers. Station 30 in Halls remains the busiest at 212 emergencies, and Station 41 in Farragut is right behind them at 187. The North Battalion continues to be the busiest at 627 emergencies, and we really don't know why. And the busiest hours for the month of December were between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. We are currently in the process of transitioning to our new radio system and frequencies. That's 800 megahertz, if you're a radio nerd like I am. So what does that mean for us? Clear radio traffic, increased safety on incident scenes, which reduces the possibility of injuries, and clouded terminology. To give you an idea of how old our current system is, we've been operating on that frequency since the early 1980s. And although it was good for the time, it has surpassed its lifespan. What does that mean? That upgrade mean in dollars? Right at $1.2 million of an investment into Knox County. All private money, no tax dollars. Feel free to catch me if you ever want to hear how clear it is. I almost brought a radio in so you could hear it, but I didn't. We smile every time we hear it because it is literally like you're standing in the same room with someone when you're talking. I've got some raw data from 2022 already, so I want to throw that at you. Total responses for 2022 were 22,330 responses. Yeah, I know this is not going to surprise you, but Halls Station 30 was the busiest at 2,422, and Farragut was second at 2,070. Medical calls were right at or a little bit under 50% at 10,037. 441 total fires were reported, and of those, 50% of the reported working fires, and working fires are actually fires where we put hoses on the ground, we hook to fire hydrants, we actually have a lot of work to do, were contained to room of origin, 50% of them. We responded to properties valued at $194,734,824. I can't even say it, it's so much. And had a loss of just a little over $8.8 million, which means that we saved 95.45% of the valued properties that we responded to, and I would challenge anybody to go anywhere and find better statistics from a fire department. Sorry, I lost my place. Of those working fires, 40% contained working smoke detectors. Us, along with the Knox County Fire Bureau, have got some work to do in that area. Staffing was averaged at 2.2 per engine for the year. I know you're not going to believe it, but the busiest battalion was the North one at 6,729 calls, and the busiest time was between 1 and 2, and the average response time was 6 minutes and 20 seconds. So staggering numbers, and there'll be much more to follow in our annual report that you'll get that'll have those numbers broke down in much more detail, so you can dig into that and ask me questions and throw darts at me all you want to. That's okay. Any questions?
Commissioner Daly?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Schoonmaker asked a question the other day at our legislative breakfast. What is the subscription rate for rural metro percentage-wise, and how many do you know the total households and all that?
I don't have the total household numbers right off the top of my head. The percentage for Knox County is still somewhere around 48%. The hard thing, and I think I've told you guys before, is that we are building houses and apartment buildings at such a fast rate, we can't catch up with the people that we have on the ground trying to sign folks up. Is very difficult to get ahead of that. We've got a lot of allies in the business with the realtors, with insurance companies and the like, and we've also got some adversaries in those same areas. So we're trying to work to level all that and make it a whole lot more profitable for everybody.
Seeing no other lights on, thank you, Captain Bagwell.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Item number 39 was withdrawn. Item number 40, presentation by Bart McFadden, President and CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of the Tennessee Valley.
Mr. McFadden, thank you for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity. I've got friends with me tonight. Last time I was with this group, I had our board chair, Wes Stowers, but I've got more important folks with me tonight. These are members from our Northridge Crossing Boys and Girls Club. Several of you have been there to visit at various points in time, and really the catalyst for our visit tonight was one young lady with us, Aisha. We were conducting a tour at our club several weeks ago, actually a couple months ago now, and the gentleman that was touring asked her what she wanted to be when she grew up. And she said, "I want to be a politician." And I quickly said, "No, you don't. But if you want to be in government, let me get somebody to come over and talk to you." And I reached out to Commissioner Lundy, and she came over to the club and spent some time with Aisha and just kind of talked about that aspiration and invited us to come tonight and share an update on our organization with this group and let these young folks kind of see what our local government looks like in action. So thank you for the opportunity. Boys and Girls Clubs of the Tennessee Valley, many of you know us, some of you know us very well. We're a youth development organization that is largely located here in Knox County, but we've got operations in 5 counties now, including Claiborne, Loudoun, Anderson, and Blount. But in Knox County, on a daily basis now, we serve about 1,100 kids every day after school. We serve about 5,000 Knox County kids annually, almost 7,500 total throughout the entire region. We provide daily after-school programs that seek to create outcomes in the areas of academic success, health and wellness, and good character and citizenship. Our mission statement truly says it all: to inspire and enable all young people, especially those that need us most, to reach their full potential as responsible, productive, caring citizens. And I think we would all agree, if we take 5,000 kids that we're working with in Knox County on an annual basis, and we achieve that mission, this community is going to continue to be a great place to live, work, and play. So a couple of things that we do. You know, there's some key issues that I know this commission is concerned with. Our region as a whole is concerned with, child care being one of them for employers. Like I said, 5,000 kids coming into our clubs on an annual basis. We're there to serve kids more than 250 days a year for more than 1,600 total contact hours. So that provides a lot of families, a lot of parents, an opportunity to work more hours or to even just have a job that they might not have been able to otherwise, or go back to school and pursue education. Speaking of education, that's another significant emphasis for our organization. Some data we pulled from Knox County Schools last year showed that kids who are attending the club on average at least twice a week are outperforming their peers in state standardized testing in reading, math, and science, with science being about 48% higher proficiency rate overall. So we're doing a lot of great work. The 4-H folks mentioned the work they're doing in STEM. We're doing a lot of STEM work in our clubs as well to make sure our kids are having the opportunities and experiences to do well in that realm. Additionally, right now we're placing a significant emphasis on early literacy. We've got a great program called Rookie Readers, which focuses on kindergarten through 2nd grade. Last year, 94% of the kids who took part in that program, was over 400 kids, improved their reading proficiency with that program during that. So making sure that they're doing the things that they need to be successful students. Next is the mental health. I think everybody on this group is keenly aware of the impact that COVID has had on the mental health of our kids, but the reality is young people were struggling with mental health long before COVID. It only exacerbated it. We've got a program called our Member Emotional and Social Health that employs 4 full-time social workers, 1 a licensed clinical social worker that's providing individual and family counseling to our kids and their families to help mitigate the effects of child care trauma. Those are critical to making sure that kids are not falling victim long-term to the effects of trauma. And then last but not least, workforce development. We've got an amazing workforce development program called Youth Force. Last year in Knox County alone, our organization put 306 kids in paid internships following 15 hours of soft skills training and development. 306 kids went into paid internships with business partners in this community of at least 60 hours. Some kids did as much as 220 hours of paid internship work. So when we talk about preparing that workforce for the next generation, the great jobs that we're attracting to this region, this is one of the ways that we're helping our community stay strong for the future. So we've got our kids here. All of these young folks, like I said, are at our Northridge Crossing Club. And I think all 4 of these kids are in a great program we have called our Youth Arts Initiative. And I think I've seen all 4 of these kids on stage at the Tennessee Theater. And we do that every summer. That's kind of one of the culminating things that we do is our performance at the Tennessee Theater. It's typically a stage play. But I would just invite any members of the commission to come by and visit any of our clubs, especially their club. It's a great club. It's one of the 4 the sites that we have in KCDC communities. And I'd be open for any questions anybody may have.
Commissioner Lundy.
I don't have any questions, but I do want to thank Bart and the, I don't want to call the young leaders for coming today. And if, you know, this is a great opportunity for them to come see us. And this is kind of cool for them, I think. Is this cool to be here? Okay, thank you. Can we all take a picture with them? Because I know this will be a memory they will forever cherish.
Yes.
Thank you. We can meet in the
Commissioner Lundy, there are two more
I'm
commissioners
sorry,
that,
I missed it. I'm
We'll do
sorry.
it at the end.
I wave. Okay, go ahead.
Commissioner Beeler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Mr. McFadden. I have a question. Could you briefly kind of explain what's the process for how Boys and Girls Clubs determine how to locate in a community or an area, with a new facility?
Honestly, very thankful you asked that. Right now, we are actually, at our corporate board meeting last Tuesday, we voted to launch a board task force to truly look at communities in Knox County where we need to be. As many of you know, we've been traditionally located kind of in the old North Knoxville area. That's our flagship site. We've been there since the 1950s. The reality is Knox County looks a heck of a lot different than it did in the 1950s. So there are pockets of this community, and Commissioner Jay and I were talking about this the other night. There are pockets in this community where need exists, that really no services for young people exist, especially in the out-of-school time. So we're launching a group right now to look at that, to say, hey, where do we need to be for the next 10 to 20 years? Can't say permanently, but where are pockets of need going to grow, or where are current unmet needs right now that we can deploy services, staff, and resources to make sure that we're taking care of those young people?
Thank you. Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Congratulations on a great event the other night. I encourage next year all of the commissioners to go to the Youth of the Year event, which was awesome. I got to participate as one of the judges. It was a hard thing to do, but it was incredibly inspiring, and it's a great program that you have that it sort of takes leadership to another level. And I just want to make sure everyone in your group looks behind you and sees the junior commissioners, because I'm hoping when you're older, maybe you'll apply and be one of our next junior commissioners. I hope the program will be around to serve you when it's older. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, future leaders, for being here and joining us tonight, and thank you for all that you do. Had a quick question about if we have employers in our county who want to become community partners, how can they learn more about doing that, and are there any requirements?
No, we do a lot to make this easy for employers, because we realize that working with young people, especially high school age, probably isn't their forte. They run their business, and working with high school kids takes a special skill set. So we really work to make sure that it's easy for them and successful for them and the kids. So they can simply reach out to our organization, either via website or call our offices, and we would love to talk to any businesses that would be interested in hosting interns. And we're really excited to explore how this program is going to be able to interact well with the new 865 Academies initiative of Knox County Schools.
Thank you. And Mr. McFadden, if you wouldn't mind, would you have these future young leaders say their names in the microphone? That way we can make sure they are included in our minutes.
My name is Dominique Mack.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Tyrone. My name is Aishita. My name is Zaria.
Thank you. And now we'll be ready for that group picture. That concludes our presentations for the evening and brings us to public forum for agenda items only. Under our rules, those who have signed up to speak on a particular agenda item may speak at this time. We have 6 people signed up to speak. First on the list is Ms. Linda Smith, followed by Kevin Murphy and Caitlin Jones. Ms. Smith, if you would please approach the podium. Ms. Smith, are you here? I will roll to the end. Next on the list is Kevin Murphy. Thank you, sir. Please approach the podium. State your name and county of residence for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Kevin Murphy of Knox County. I'm here speaking on the resolution that was on the consent agenda for the interstate bypass, and I hate speaking without having like options and solutions and stuff to present, but I've got just a perspective. Our rivers and ridge lines are a defining feature of our Tennessee Valley. It's what we love, and that draws all of us here, and that's why none of us want to leave. And those same ridgelines and rivers, they influence our road and transportation design. The roads run parallel to ridges, they run through gaps. Kingston Pike, a couple hundred years ago, was built out, and the early road makers, they were definitely looking for the easiest way to build a road, and they followed that natural topography. And then back in the 50s, when they were laying out their interstate system, 40 and 75 also follow that topography. And we probably had some pretty smart people back then saying, oh, we can save some money by combining our interstates on this one corridor here. So that's great, but today it's carrying a lot more traffic than anybody could imagine. And meanwhile, we developed out along that corridor, and we kind of created a downtown commercial district, that's 4 blocks wide and about 9 blocks long, going from the Bearden area where they come together, Kingston Pike and the interstates, all the way out to Campbell Station. So that's a lot of traffic. A lot of that's external to Knox County, and that creates an issue that is not in our purview to solve. And that's a great reason to look for a bypass. And I don't think there's another, viable option out there for a bypass. But if we are looking at a bypass, then there's some things the commission should also be thinking about as you look at other decisions you're making. First, once a new road project gets kind of declared and kind of cited out, you have a need for additional infrastructure from the county. There will be pressure to build more roads or enlarge and widen roads that are out there, so that's going to create some budget pressures. You can look at what's happened. We did, Interstate I-40, and that's, there's been a lot of development along there, including you've got North Shore Town Center, and you've got a lot more road and growth that happens out there. So it's natural that a new interstate will change growth patterns, and that's really important for us to be thinking about. I know it takes a long time for a new interstate to be planned out and sited and all that, but that's going to have a big change. Right now, and of course, with that, comes our oldest of American, well, not the oldest, but one of our oldest institutions, which is land speculation. So you'll, as commissioners, experience immense political pressure when it comes to land usage. Right now, Advanced Knox is looking at all these growth patterns, and the word bypass only appeared in one of over 7,000 comments that I could find on the Advanced Knox website. So that's not in your constituents' mind. So that's something that is going to take some rethinking. You'll need to revisit our general plans as that comes along. I just want you to be aware of the impacts that happen. Bypass is probably the only way out there, but just be aware there'll be some other things you'll need to do as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next on the list for public forum is Ms. Caitlin Jones, followed by Keith Britt. Ms. Jones, please approach the podium, state your name and county of residence for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Jones, and I'm from Knox County. Most of you know that I'm a single mom with a son with Down syndrome and autism, and I just wanted to take the time to thank you all today for voting for Commissioner Lee's resolution. When I found out that I was pregnant, I wasn't in a good place in my life. Half the time I wonder how I didn't end up dead or in jail. And my son saved my life 100%. When I found out he had Down syndrome, the doctors, I got moved to a high risk specialist, and the doctors told me all the things that were going to go wrong when he was born. He had a major heart condition, major things wrong, problems with his intestines. He now has he's had Hirschsprung's disease, went through multiple surgeries and has had multiple hospitalizations. but I couldn't imagine not having him in my life. And I just appreciate anyone who is able to and who takes care of a child like that, or any child at all. And I just wanted to also take the time to just say out there to anyone listening, if you're a mom or going to be a mom and need help in that regard, that I would be happy to speak with anybody who wanted to reach out to me. I know that finding out not only are you pregnant, especially at a young age, in a time when you're not ready, and that now you find out your child has a disability, that it's very difficult, and that's okay to feel that way. And so anyone who wants to speak with me, they can find me on Facebook, Instagram, anything like that, and I would be happy to speak with them. So I just really appreciate anybody, everyone who voted for this to pass, and I appreciate Commissioner Lee for bringing it forward, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Keith Britt, if you would please approach the podium. Debbie Stafford and Sherry Garrett will be our next speakers. Mr. Britt, please state your name and county of residence for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi, Keith Britt, 506 Knowlton Drive. Just to be clear, I am absolutely 100% a Democrat, but I have never felt more Republican in my life reading over the proposed lease agreement with the Concord Yacht Club. They are fine people. The Concord Yacht Club, I know some of them personally, they are good, decent people. But the plain fact of the matter is, we as taxpayers are subsidizing through the giveaway of some of the most valuable property in this county. We are subsidizing boat slips at substandard rates, submarket rates. And I did some rudimentary, not to be taken as scientific research, just property valuation of the property that it sits on. And I priced it out at about $4.27 million based on some comparable residential lots. That we could have funded the entire indigent medical program that we cut in a few years ago with that for 4 to 5 years. We could have given medical service to 1,000 people for the subsidy that we're giving for boat slips. And that money comes, it does come from somewhere. There is a trade-off. That subsidization comes from sales tax, from food for people below the poverty line. It comes out of my property tax dollars, which I don't mind paying, but I do like for those property tax dollars going to something that go to the general good. Police officer salaries, I'm happy. Raise my taxes if you want to pay the sheriff's office more. Sheriff's office employees, we cannot fill a myriad of positions for those. So why are we subsidizing expensive boat slips? But it is, what if we did decide not to renew that lease? What would we do that property? That would be a major headache for us. Knox County government, Parks and Rec, I don't think wants that. Turning that into, I don't know, a dog park or whatever could be publicly accessible. By the way, I priced it out. It would cost me $926 to set foot on that property, according to their website. But we don't want that headache either. But what I am asking you to do is look at that lease. Look at who's paying for it with sales tax dollars and property tax dollars. And are you willing to have those dollars go to subsidize below market value or below market rate boat slips? So at a very minimum, make this revenue neutral. Do some sharing, make them raise the slip rate to do something more comparable with the market, and just make sure that we're not making people that are struggling pay to subsidize these boat slips. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Debbie Stafford, please approach the podium. State your name and county of residence for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Debbie Stafford, Knox County, Tennessee. I'm here tonight in support of Commissioner Lee and all of you that voted to make Knox County a pro-life county. I thank you all for that. I feel like some things need to be said about being pro-life. Obviously, in the words of Dr. Seuss, a life is a life no matter how small. At the same time, by removing abortion, which I'm very glad that we did, because abortion's always murder. We can try and color it any way we want to. But there are a lot of things in our county that we have not addressed. And most of this isn't even county, so it's more to get on public record than anything. But what happens to those women who are forced into pregnancy, they were forced to have sex? What happens to them in their crisis pregnancies? Since Roe v. Wade's been overturned, I personally have seen an increase of babies coming to the clinic who were born addicted to drugs. Whereas those babies would have otherwise been murdered through abortion, now they're living, and praise God for them living. But what's happening to them? What services are available for them? What services are available for women who find out they're pregnant? So I hope that in us continuing forth a pro-life mindset, which I think is very important, because if a fetus is not life, then at what point does life matter? And people like Caitlin, who share their story, are total beasts in this world. I mean beasts in the best way, beast mode, for going to advocate for a child. Most of you know I have a child that's disabled as well. She was actually born healthy. And if I had to go back and choose watching my child suffer like that, knowing ahead of time that I would have had to watch her suffering, I would have told you, no, that doesn't mean I would have aborted her. That means that we have suffered. And so I don't even know what I'm doing up here talking. I just came up here to talk and to ask you all to please be mindful that we need to have conversations with boys, because where every baby is conceived, there was a male. I won't call a man, because many times these males aren't acting like men when they get women pregnant that they're not willing to commit their lives to. But we need to bring men back in the conversation. What are we doing to make sure that men aren't creating babies that they're not ready to be fathers to? What are they doing making babies with women who aren't ready to be mothers? So I love it that we are becoming pro-life, but let's open the door to the entire conversation and all the things that lead up to abortion. And the fallout of not having abortion means extra support for a lot of women, and trying to push men into being responsible for their duties that they should have been responsible with all along. So thank you all. Have a great night.
Thank you. And Ms. Sherry Garrett, please approach the podium. Ms. Linda Smith, have you arrived? State your name and county of residence, and you have 3 minutes.
Sherry Garrett, Knox County. First off, thank you all for passing this resolution. Thank you again, Rhonda, for bringing that forward. I'll start off with Psalms 139, verses 13 through 16. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. And I want to quote quickly from someone who said everything that I want to say, but she said it so much better and so much more eloquently. This is from Mother Teresa at her acceptance of the Nobel Peace Prize on December 10th, 1979. And I feel one thing I want to share with you all. The greatest destroyer of peace today is the cry of the innocent unborn child. For if a mother can murder her own child in her own womb, what is left for you and me to kill each other? Even in the scripture it is written, even if mother could forget her child, I will not forget you. I have carved you in the palm of my hand. Even if mother could forget, but today millions of unborn children are being killed, and we say nothing. In the newspapers, you read numbers of this one and that one being killed, this being destroyed, but nobody speaks of the millions of little ones who have been conceived to the same life as you and I, to the life of God, and we say nothing, we allow it. To me, the nations who have legalized abortion are the poorest nations. They are afraid of the little one. They are afraid of the unborn child, and the child must die because they don't want to feed one more child, to educate one more child, and the child must die. And here I ask you, in the name of these little ones, for it was that unborn child that recognized the presence of Jesus when Mary came to visit Elizabeth, her cousin. As we read in the gospel, the moment Mary came into the house, the little one in the womb of his mother leapt with joy, recognized the Prince of Peace. And so today, let us here make a strong resolution. We're going to save every child, every unborn child, give them a chance to be born. And what we are doing, we are fighting abortion by adoption, The good God blessed the work so beautifully that we have saved thousands of children, and thousands of children have found a home where they are loved, they are wanted, they are cared. We have brought so much joy in the homes that there was not a child, and so today I ask His Majesties here before you all who come from different countries, let us all pray that we have courage to stand by the unborn child and give the child an opportunity to love and be loved. And I think with God's grace, we will be able to bring peace in the world. I want you to love the poor and never turn your back on the poor. For in turning your back to the poor, you are turning it to Christ. For He has made Himself the hungry one, the naked one, the homeless one, so that you and I have the opportunity to love Him. But where is God? How can we love God? It is not enough to say to my God, I love you, but my God, I love you here. I can enjoy this, but I give up. I could eat that sugar, but I give that sugar. If I stay here the whole day and the whole night, you would be surprised at the beautiful things that people do that share the joy of giving. And so my prayer for you is that the truth will bring prayer to our homes, and the fruit of prayer that we will believe that in the poor it is Christ. If we really believe, we will begin to love. And if we love naturally, we will try to do something. First in our own home, our next door neighbor, in the country we live, in the world, let us all join in that one prayer. God, give us courage to protect the unborn child, for the child is the greatest gift of God to a family, to a nation, to the whole world. God bless you.
Thank you. This concludes our public forum for agenda items. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Approval of minutes of the previous meeting.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Frazier with a second by Commissioner Beeler. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk, next item.
Drives and roads. This is item 41. Consideration of the acceptance of new county road. A, Denver Lane, located in Goodson Park, Phase 1, District 6.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Hill with a second by Commissioner Daly. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 42, line item transfers, total amount $1,017,606.66.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Jay with a second by Commissioner Schoonmaker. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
Item number 43, budget amendments, total amount $8,911.98.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Jay with a second by Commissioner Schoonmaker. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk.
Notary applications, there's 210.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Daly with a second by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk.
Spread of record, the Office of the Clerk and Master of Knox County Chancery Court Handbook.
All right. And now we're to 48.
The next is on page 9, General Government Resolution Non-Consent. This is item number 48, Resolution R-23-1-301, consideration of a resolution of the Commission of Knox County, Tennessee, approving a vehicle trade between the Knox County Sheriff's Office and the Knox County Rescue Agency.
Is there a motion? Motion to approve by Commissioner Beeler with a second by Commissioner Daly. Commissioner Frazier, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be recusing myself to avoid any potential perceived conflict of interest.
Thank you, ma'am. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item number 49, Resolution R-23-1-701, consideration of a resolution of the Commission of Knox County, Tennessee, consenting to and approving an estoppel certificate and consent regarding the Concord Marina of Knoxville LLC's assignment of the lease agreement for the professional management and operation of Concord Marina to Go Outdoors Concord LLC, and consenting to and approving an amendment to lease with the Go Outdoors Concord LLC to amend the legal description of Concord Marina.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Beeler with a second by Commissioner Ward. It is my understanding, Commissioners, that the attorney for the marina is here, and I will probably mispronounce your name, Mr. Hubre. Is that correct? If that's incorrect, I apologize. If you would, he's here for any discussion, if anyone has any questions. Apparently there are. If you would please state your name and address for the record.
Sure, it's Michael Houbre, Houbre.
Thank you. And your address.
2184 Kangaroo Lane, Knox County.
Thank you. So, Commissioners, this was a late ad. Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes,
this
sir.
is basically a name change for the entity.
It accomplishes a couple of different things. The amendment is just to clean up the legal description. The estoppel and consent is essentially a reorganization into a new joint venture, while the same folks will be operating the marina.
Is there any more discussion for this item? Seeing none, the motion on the floor is to approve. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 50 has been deferred. Item number 51, Resolution R-23-1-903, consideration of a resolution of the Commission approving a ground lease with Concord Yacht Club, Inc. for recreational activities for a term of 10 years beginning July the 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2033, with the option to renew the lease for an additional period of 10 years with an annual rent in the amount of $1,000 over the initial term of the lease.
No. Okay. That's the wrong caption. I know. Commissioner Daly.
Yeah, I think that we need to revise that resolution to 5 years and $5,000.
Right. I thought the caption had actually been changed. One moment. Okay, so the caption should actually read for a term of 5 years, beginning July 1, 2023, and ending June 30th, 2028. Is that correct? And then with the option to renew the lease for an additional period of 5 years with the annual rent in the amount of $5,000 over their initial term of the lease. Is that correct, Mr. Van?
No option. It's just a 5-year lease.
It's just a 5-year lease.
Correct, Mr. Van de Veek?
It's not an automatic renewal, Commissioner Daly. It does provide an option. I don't believe it sets a rate, but it does provide it. That was one item that's been discussed. The original item, as proposed, probably does include a default renewal. So if Commissioner will recall, on Friday, I circulated correspondence that included the updated rate that's been discussed, a couple other provisions, including an option to renew, but it is not a default option. It would actually have to be acted on by Commission at that time, and I do not believe it establishes a rate for that second 5 years. It's open based on the discretion of the body at the time.
And Commissioners, actually per our rules, we need a motion before we can discuss this item. So I know it's going to be tricky.
The item that you just read, though, correct?
Pardon me?
The way you just read it is what we're motioning on?
Correct, with no option to renew.
Okay. Motion.
It's 5 years with $5,000 per year.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Everybody in there at the same time. Okay. Motion to approve a 5-year lease with $5,000 per year, correct?
Yes, ma'am. It would also include quarterly reports to Parks and Recreation with metrics of measurement that the club can provide on activities and participation, and those would be forwarded by Director Mack to Commission. We also asked them to consider establishing a higher rental rate for non-county residents who do not pay Knox County taxes. And then finally, we asked them to meet with risk management and their insurer to discuss if there are safe ways that public access to the facility could be improved and to report back to Commission on those discussions.
That's my motion.
Okay. Motion to approve pending stipulations that were just stated by Commissioner Ward with a second by Commissioner Oster. Commissioner Frazier.
Commissioner Ward took my substitute motion, so we're all good. Director Vandevate, do you care to respond to Mr. Britt's comments about the deeded use of the property, just to clarify any questions or concerns in his statement?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Commissioner Frazier, and certainly not to discourage Mr. Britt's involvement. I appreciate him taking an interest in the matter. I would say a couple things. I think that an evaluation estimate on the property's commercial value would have to consider the fact that much of it is in the floodplain. I'm not sure that was a variable in his calculation. And as far as our operational costs, they are in effect zero. Remember, I just always come back to the fact that what we asked the Concord Yacht Club to do is provide opportunities for people who live in and around Knox County that will not otherwise have an opportunity to learn to sail, an opportunity to participate in the sailing sports. But we actually do not spend any money on this facility. They cover their costs and do the work that we ask them to do.
Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dwight, I guess I'm the only one that's been in opposition to the way this lease has been written. And again, the paperwork that is submitted in our agenda is not 100% correct. In other words, they wrote the lease and then we're substituting the information that you've just presented to us, and that's what the motion says.
Yes, sir. It would amend the terms to provide 5 years, $5,000 a year, no default or automatic renewal, quarterly reports to Parks and Recreation, establishing a higher rental rate for non-county residents, and then opening discussions with risk management and their insurer about the possibility of opening the space to public access.
Okay, and we've talked on the phone previously about this, but I just want to make sure for the record I understand this, that Director Mack and his department is not interested at this time in expanding the access for the folks that use the Concord Park boat launch or expanding the cove at Concord Park into a portion of that area like I spoke about last week. Is that correct?
Sir. That's correct. At this point in time, we wouldn't have the staff or budgetary bandwidth to take on the space, the physical space, nor do we have anybody who's positioned to start a recreational sailing program to take the place of what the Yacht Club has done for all these years.
Okay, but we never discussed replacing the Concord Yacht Club. We talked about reducing the footprint of their property.
Yes, sir, that's correct. That is correct. We, again, and I do think that's captured in Commissioner Ward's amended motion, which is to start that discussion as to how public access to the property might be considered without creating undue liability for Knox County as we introduce people into the facility, or for Concord Yacht Club who purchase commercial insurance in order to protect their own liability. This would be a different space. So, for instance, Concord Marina people that Commission just approved, people cannot wander about the docks there We have some trepidation about what the implications of this would be if we simply swung the gates open and said, okay, it's open to everybody. That isn't to say we can't make some improvement, but I can't do it between now and the end of this meeting. So we've simply asked for some time to get the subject matter experts engaged and see what we can do.
Okay. And then would you consider this property as one of the top 5 Knox County assets?
That's a little bit subjective for me, Commissioner. It is a fine piece of property, but West Knox County is blessed with an abundance of lakefront property. Virtually all our lakefront parks, with the exception of a few south, are on this stretch of North Shore Drive. So we have abundant lakefront from Cherokee Park to the east all the way to the Cove on the west. So where it falls in that pecking order, I'd be reluctant to say. I just would take note of the fact that the one thing West Knox County is not short of is lakefront park space.
Okay. And Madam Chair, I'd like to make a substitute motion after all the discussion is complete.
Commissioner Ward?
Just for clarification, this is a deed restricted property that was given to us by TVA, correct?
Yes, sir, it is. It is deed restricted and was conveyed by TVA to Knox County along with obviously the various sites up and down North Shore Drive.
So there's just a very limited window of what we can actually do with the property, correct?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Oster?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Van de Veen. I appreciate all the work that you've done, and I also am glad that you were able to share with the audience that Knox County is not putting money into this, that we were under a lease agreement already with the yacht club, and that they have been more than willing to work with your office trying to come to an agreement that worked for everybody. So, and I've heard from quite a few people from the yacht club, and I think what they're doing is great. We're able to get some more money for it, but just like you said, it's also important for people to understand when you're looking at commercial, it goes into a lot more specific ways that you can appraise the property. And when you have so much under flood zone, you can't use that in that appraisal also. So thank you. I just wanted to thank you for your time on this.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any more discussion? Commissioner Schoonmaker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to offer a substitute motion. I would agree with the 5-year lease. I just feel that the $5,000 fee annually is not acceptable to the citizens of Knox County. That's just a personal opinion. So I would like to amend the motion to say that the lease agreement is $15,000 per year, which is basically $65 per year for each of the 230 club members, which is basically, for those who are mooring a sailboat, is less than what they would have to pay for 1 month at some other facility. So
the motion is for the 5-year term, but for $15,000.
$1,000, correct.
Is there a second? Okay. What about, is there a renewal? Is there?
The balance of
everything else is
Commissioner Ward's-
included?
Exactly, just a monetary amount difference.
Okay. So the substitute motion is for the 5-year lease with $15,000 per year for the term of the lease. By Commissioner Schoonmaker with a second by Commissioner Daly. Commissioner Daly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through my discussions with certain people, I can't remember, but, is 5,000 too little? Is 5,000 too much? So I wanted a second to get this discussion going. Mr. Commodore, name and an address before we start
Dana
off.
Dawson, Knox County, Carnes Community.
That 15,000 scare you?
It's a surprise. It would be a larger than 5% of our gross revenue. I'm not saying that we could not adjust our annual dues to absorb it, but it is a surprise. It's not been a conversation for the last several months.
Well, how do you feel about it, though? I mean, it is a good piece of property, and I know that one of my other hangups was public access. It's going to take time to get that public access. I understand that, and could be a little bit of a trade-off.
I understand that, and I really hoped we wouldn't have to negotiate it here in this setting, but I'm willing to discuss it. How do I feel about it? We contribute a lot to the community. We provide camp at an inexpensive rate. One of the reasons we have access to our club is we've kept our dues low. Membership is just under $400 a year, and we've not raised our dues since 2006. If you factor in the cost of living adjustment that our federal government calculates every year, our dues should be more like $550, and we've still not raised them yet. Now, economically, with the inflation we're getting, we're under pressure to do that. So now you're going to add another $65 per year per member. So now we're looking at around $600 a year annual dues. Well, that's a 50% increase. It makes it a little less accessible to all the citizens of Knox County. And part of our membership has been around 230 members for over 15 years. There's a finite amount of people in this community, and you price it higher, I would argue that we're going to lose members, because it's discretionary spending, and now you're going to increase it by 50% if we adjust for inflation and your additional lease requirement.
How much does it cost for the Concord Marina per month, per year?
I do not know. I don't have a boat over there.
Was it Commissioner Schoonmaker? I'll ask you that question. You don't know?
I'm not sure. I was just told by the members of the yacht club that if they had a sailboat docked at one of the other facilities, they were paying in that $225 to $250 price point per month, and at the Concord Yacht Club, they're paying about $70 a month.
But once again, that is us helping to make it accessible to the citizens, it not being so expensive. We're also on the main channel. Concord Marina is in a cove. Our docks, our boats take a lot of pounding from the larger motorboats that are now on Fort Loudon Lake. It is incredibly expensive to maintain our docks, and their lifespan is getting shorter every year due to the amount of wave action we receive. So putting a boat at Concord Marina, you're naturally protected. We are not. So it's not completely comparable for what we're doing. So,
if I could make a suggestion, Commissioner, and I don't have any standing to negotiate on behalf of the yacht club, but I just wanted to point out that the existing lease is $1,000 a year, and the proposal before the body is to take it to $5,000 a year. That is, in and of itself, not an inconsequential increase, but to go from $1,000 a year to $15,000 a year is a pretty substantial increase. And I wondered if it might please the body to consider something like $5,000 for years 1 and 2, and then $7,500 years 3 and 4, and $10,000 year 5, and give the club an opportunity to adjust their member rates incrementally and accordingly, and not come in with an increase that's from $1,000 a year to $15,000 a year. Pretty substantial jump. I think if I were one of our other lessees or other folks that Parks and Recreation have a relationship with, I'd look on that with some concern.
Is that agreeable, Commissioner Schoonmaker, you think?
Well, first, can I?
I gave you the floor right now, but I want it back.
Thank you, Commissioner. I do appreciate that. I never said that you had to raise the dues of the 230 members by $65. I just said that's what it would be for every member, unless you decided to adjust your rates for the other services that you're providing there at the yacht club. That was, so in other words, but we don't want to be left with the thought that you haven't raised your dues because of such a good deal that you had with Knox County. all I'm trying to do is say is here in 2023 that $15,000 a year to have the most prime lakefront property for a yacht club is I think that's very, very reasonable, personally. It's your option as far as if you want to expand from 230 members to 250 or whatever you want to do. We're not going to tell you how to run your operation. But at the same time, you guys have also been very good stewards of your money. Otherwise, you wouldn't have excess of $400,000 in reserve accounts for the yacht club to draw upon if needed. So, the yacht club's not operating from hand to mouth, so to speak. You do have reserves, and I just think a $15,000 rate is fair to the citizens of Knox County, Tennessee.
Good points on both sides. Mr. Van, I personally do think 5,000 is low, but I do like the idea of incremental increases. And if it's agreeable, I don't know if it's the Commodore, would that be agreeable?
It's much easier to absorb, yes, sir, than jumping straight to
I will
15.
be more in favor of that there. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to second it so we can get that discussion out there. And I'm not saying 15,000 may not be enough, or too much. We just need to come up with that agreement. But I do personally think it should be a little bit more than 5,000. So. No. You got to vote.
Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate everyone's comments and perspectives from the folks who have signed up to speak and my fellow commissioners. I've served on boards like this. We've had this discussion. There were multiple opportunities for us to discuss anything other than what has been presented to us at work session. And I personally do not feel like this is appropriate to renegotiate what we have put forth as a recommendation. We have had numerous conversations. There's been a lot of work put into this. The deed actually restricts Knox County's use and or sale. I appreciate those comments, but again, this is a valued community partner. I think they deserve the respect of some foresight if we're going to change our ask again. And I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to change the ask at this time. And I hope that my colleagues will consider that as well.
Commissioner Hill?
I couldn't echo Commissioner Frazier any more strongly than what she has stated. We do need to keep in mind that because of the restrictions on this property, it isn't like if they're there, they're not there, that we have all these choices to do things with this prime real estate. But again, I do think this is kind of a last-minute proposal that is not warranted. And I will tell you, just from also a West Knox County standpoint, although the club is open to anyone in Knox County, we do not want them to go away. They give us something unique and different in our community, what they offer to our kids and just a whole sport that not many counties can even hope to offer to start with. So I hope the Commission will strongly think about this before we just arbitrarily throw out another number that may or may not put a hardship on them, but nevertheless, they have demonstrated their willingness to step forward, to work with us, to open up to more programming. I mean, again, I would hope that you would be very thoughtful about any last-moment change like this.
Commissioner Oster?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to reiterate what Commissioner Frazier and Commissioner Hill said. I don't want to be doing negotiating down on the floor after we've already had an agreement with the yacht club. I think that puts them in a really bad position, and it just didn't sit well with me. So I can't support the substitute motion. You guys came to the table, you worked with us, and we were trying to come up with something fair for everybody at this point, and that's what we came to. So I can't support a substitute motion.
Commissioner Jay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just remind the colleagues that as part of this discussion, we sort of triggered a lot of work for our county team to start examining every piece of property we have and every agreement we have with every nonprofit or organization we have. And be careful setting a precedence, because almost every district has somebody that is using some piece of Knox County as a nonprofit use under a pretty favorable term, and that could be sailing, it could be rugby, it could be another marina, it could be a park, it could be youth sports. Just be careful going down a road in which our entire purpose is to milk as much money out of every nonprofit as possible instead of determining the value of a partnership. So that's it.
Commissioner Schoonmaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just as a point of information, since we do have our junior commissioners here, the question about whether we were going to amend a contract, we already did that when Dwight Vandervate gave us this on Friday afternoon. So we didn't discuss this in the work session. And then number two, no one has ever proposed that the Concord Yacht Club go out of existence. When I expressed my opinion at the work session, I said a reduction in their land to give more for the Cove Park and also for the Concord Park boat launch was all. But I never stipulated that they should be forced out of existence, for the record.
Commissioner Frazier.
Just to further clarify those comments, what we received from Director Vandevate was actually a response to the request that we made at the work session for him to take our comments and put them into a bullet point document for us. So this is actually a response from that discussion that we had. We requested this information.
Is there any more discussion regarding this item? Seeing none, the motion on the floor is a substitute motion by Commissioner Schoonmaker for a 5-year lease with a $15,000 per year fee, and it also includes all of the stipulations and comments made by Mr. Vandevate. Correct. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Lundy?
No.
Commissioner Lundy votes no. Commissioner Durrett?
No.
Commissioner Durrett votes no. Commissioner Oster?
No.
Commissioner Oster votes no. Commissioner Ward? No. Commissioner Ward votes no. Commissioner Schoonmaker?
Aye.
Commissioner Schoonmaker votes aye. Commissioner Hill? No. Commissioner Hill votes no. Commissioner Lee?
No.
Commissioner Lee votes no. Commissioner Beeler?
No.
Commissioner Beeler votes no. Commissioner Daly? Aye. Commissioner Daly votes aye. Commissioner Jay?
No.
Commissioner Jay votes no. Commissioner Frazier?
Respectfully, no.
Commissioner Frazier votes no.
So that substitute motion fails. So we are back to the original motion by Commissioner Ward for 5 years with a $5,000 per year price tag and everything that Mr. Vandevate said. Is there any, and the second was by Commissioner Oster. Is there any discussion regarding this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. 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 Any opposed? No. That motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
There are no ordinances. It's been deferred. So we're to public. We are to public forum on open topics. We only have one speaker. Mr. Will Bowen, if you would please approach the podium, state your name and address, or excuse me, your name and county of residence, and you'll have 3 minutes.
I know you all are so excited to see me again here. My name's Will Bowen, Knox County. So I wanted to keep it on your all's minds that 62 days ago today, exactly 2 months ago actually, a 15-year-old girl was fired from her job because of the Knox County Sheriff's Office lying about events that occurred at McAllister's on Shad Road. Now, I hope that there's been work done the past couple weeks concerning this issue, but I personally have heard nothing, so I wanted to make sure it stays on your all's minds. The public trust in the police is very low across the country, I would say. And yes, that is mostly the fault of the police departments. When you have police departments like the Knox County Sheriff's Office that escape accountability with these actions, slander minors on personal Facebook accounts, Kimberly Glenn, the spokeswoman for the sheriff's office. I mean, I don't know what to say that I haven't already said, because I've come in here and said it maybe, this is the, fourth, fifth time? And, I'm not going to quit coming in, so y'all going to see a lot more of me. And hopefully other people, but we'll see. So, I mean, hold them accountable. If we've had people claim that they didn't do anything wrong. If they didn't do anything wrong, what's the holdup on proving their innocence? Get them to testify, make them come out here, tell their version of the story. Everybody tells their version of the story, and then we take it from there. If they didn't do anything wrong, what's the problem with having them come out here? That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That concludes our public forum for agenda items. We are to other business. Is there any other business to come before this commission meeting?
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Jay with a second by Commissioner Ward. We are adjourned. Zoning will begin at 7 p.m.